exactly 7:44 a.m. And this morning it's about the newsroom press review when we're talking about how the media has been covering various issues in the country. And of course, the focus this morning has been about communication within the office of the president, his deputy, and how the media has handled it. But before we delve in, we continue having that discussion, just remind you about the latest information that you received. It is that 15 Kenyans have lost their lives after a Nairobi-bound bus rammed into a stalled matatu in Matu, that's Machakos County. And this has been confirmed by Yatta Police Boss Njoroge Karanja, and of course we will give you the latest details as and when we get them. Actually, it's not even 15 people, but it's actually 13 people. So far, the correct number that has been confirmed, it is that 13 people have been confirmed dead after a Nairobi-bound bus rammed into a stalled lorry in Matu, Machakos County. And this has been confirmed by Joseph Karanja, who is Yatta Police Boss. So we'll give you the latest information as and when we get them. But this morning we're talking about communication, strategic communication within the office of the president, his deputy, and how the media has actually handled, information that comes from these two top officers. And just before we took a short break, Mr. Muluka asked me to remind you, you wanted to actually, give a comment on what Wafula had said.
Yes, Wafula was suggesting that the president was shadow boxing or throwing punches in the dark so that they could land on whoever they may find. And I don't think so, because when you look at the recent happenings in the country, the recent pronouncements, you listen to people like Senator Murkomen, Senator Cherongerai, the Nandi senator. You listen to people like Didimas Baraza, MP for Kimilili, and all of whom are very close associates of the deputy president. You listen to MP Sudi, and you listen, most important, to the deputy president himself, who has been saying, he's been moving from post to pillar and pillar to post, saying that this campaign against corruption is targeting me personally, it's targeting me strategically. And when the president was going to Namibia, the deputy president was going to Mombasa, where he was addressing the interprofessional summit, and he devoted a significant portion of his address to the thought that the campaign against corruption was targeting him strategically. And therefore, when the president says, in the wake of the deputy president's own pronouncements a day later, that regardless, or rather to quote him more correctly, irregardless, that you are my brother, you are my sister, you are my whatever you may be, you are my closest ally, you are an enemy of the Republic of Kenya. That is what the president said. And we don't need to guess. We don't even need to be interpreters.
To guess who the president was talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, how should the media, how should we join the dots? Because here it looks like we forgot about these other people that the president mentioned, like the family. Even if you're my family, member, you're not left in this fight against corruption. So is it that the media deliberately forgot about that line and just focused on one man who's the deputy president?
Yes, in the president's statement, there were several things that he mentioned. He spoke about family, he spoke about his closest allies, and etc. And I think in terms of joining the dots, this is a perfect opportunity now for the media to go in and further interrogate what he meant. Okay, so that now you can brief the Kenyan public to say, yes, this is our analysis, and this is how we view the communication that was pushed out by the president.
Okay.
So it's a good opportunity that should not be passed by. The
media needs to go back to the drawing board and interrogate.
Yes, interrogate the statement.
Okay.
Yeah, and investigate further.
Okay.
And unfortunately, the deputy president cannot delink himself from anything corruption himself. People allied to him, and we see even the purge on corruption targeting even government departments have really sort of like gone for people who are like close to him. And we have to, it's a historical mistake that many times when governments are formed, they are formed and positions are given to people from one or two communities. And when the purge comes, the corruption tsunami comes sweeping people, it sweeps those very people that you put there strategically for your own interest.
Like the Swahili word will say, waliokuwemo na wasiyekuwemo.
Exactly. So what happens is that it's so unfortunate that our deputy president is painted corrupt. And that is what is...
But who has painted the deputy president corrupt? Is it the media or is it his foot soldiers?
It is his foot soldier and himself. Because
not the media.
There's evidence. We are not talking just that we are not actually calling him corrupt because people are calling him corrupt. But there's a lot of evidence that has linked him to corruption. This is a fact. And that's what the media, and I think I comment the media, because the media has actually not been, has not shied to write stories, including the land story that was very controversial.
Actually, just hold on to that thought. Just hold on to that thought, because the next discussion within how the media handles stories, we'll be talking about how the media has been handling corruption cases in terms of reporting. But just before we delve into that, I needed us to close this discussion about the social media discussion of the two leaders and how it's been. So yet, are we likely to look at the president starting another Twitter handle? Because now the other one has been pulled down. And when he starts another Twitter handle, should he apologize to Kenyans first, personally, not even having someone behind the keyboard doing that for him?
Look, the forms of communication have changed. Now, social media is a key channel of communication today. I'd be surprised that the president would carry on for the next 2 to 3 years as a president without his personal Twitter channel. However, we've got to go back in time and look and see that previous presidents did not have these channels, or they did not use them. This is a new form of communication, right? And it is important that now even us as the audiences understand that this is one of the channels. And I would challenge the presidency now to begin auditing whether they are being effective in their communication style through these channels or not.
Okay.
Yes.
Whether they're being effective or not, that's a question that they need to answer.
Exactly.
Do you think they've been effective, Luca?
No, they have not been effective, and I go back to where I started off, that there are two parallel streams around the presidency. There's the professional stream, which is not being allowed to do its work. I can bet you my last broken coin that is the challenge, that there's Kanze Dena and the professionals around her, and who are not being given the opportunity to do their work. I haven't talked to Kanze Dena, but I don't need to be a Jewish prophet to tell what is happening there. And then there are other people whose names must remain unnamed around the president, and who think they're the president's friends, and who are the people who are causing this problem. What the president needs to remember, and to borrow from Peter Oyer, that when you go back into time, you will find that communication technology, since time immemorial, has been one of the assets and properties of the people in power. From the ancient Egyptian papyrus, from the ancient scribes of this world, you had them working in the royal palaces around power, keeping records, retrieving information, helping to guide the sovereign on what pronouncements should be made, how they should be made, why, where, the timeliness of them, and the expected
so that is what we are lacking
outcomes,
as a country.
and that is not there.
All right, all right. So we have very few minutes. I need to wind up this conversation in like 2 minutes, which I need, within those 2 minutes, we need to share the 2 minutes equally. And I'll start with you, Afula, as we wind up, gentlemen. How has the media been balanced, like without taking sides when it comes to reporting matters corruption?
Yes, of course. I think the media, for the first time, I've seen the courage in the media to, with a lot of professionalism, reporting on corruption, and not even shying to mention the deputy president, his wealth, how he got his wealth, how he has been linked to the land scandals. The media is very now vibrant. I think, to be very honest, I think needs to happen is that that opportunity that the media sees must be protected. Because I think in democracy is called businesses in some of these corruptions, because they have done a lot of investigative reporting when it comes to the question of corruption.
All right.
And I think, those who have been are indicted with corruption on what the media has reported is factual.
Quite objective. The media reports that so much money has been stolen in such an institution. Allusion to anyone, you come out and you say, "I'm not a thief."
Without being mentioned.
Without being mentioned. The only thing that has been said is that money has been stolen. And out of the 45 million Kenyans, you are the first one to come out to say, "I'm not a thief. This thing is targeting me." There must be something that you know that other people do not know, including those who have broken that news. So the media has been very objective. And when people get onto rostrums thereafter and start saying that it is Barack you are targeting, you cannot blame the media.
As we wind up, we run out of time.
Yes, I agree that the media has been objective. It's wonderful to see a bold media that's willing to speak for and on behalf of the citizenry of this country. Again, the media is source-based. Right, we get information and we publish based on evidence. That's what the media does, and I think they have done that, and I would encourage them to continue doing that.
Right.
Before we sign off, I would just like to, based on the breaking news, just to send out condolences to the families who've been affected by the accident in Matu.
All right, thank you so much. And I mean, from what Oyer has just also mentioned, just to remind your viewers, it is that 13 people have lost their lives after a Nairobi-bound bus rammed into a tolled lorry in Matu, Machakos County. This has been confirmed by Yatta Police Boss Njoroge Karanja. So far, that is the latest details we're getting right there. And it is 13 people and not 15 people, as I had earlier indicated. And thank you so much, gentlemen, for talking to us. Of course, we had Evans Ofulo, a journalist, seated to my immediate right. Next to him is Barack Muluka, seasoned publishing editor and strategic communication advisor, also ANC Party Secretary General. Got it right this time. And of course, Peter Oyer, a former TV anchor. And gentlemen, have a nice day. Yeah, and hoping to see you soon for much more here on Morning Express. Allow me to take a short breather, but we still have a lot lined up for you when we come back. But as we're taking that short break, just to remind you of the breaking news: 13 people have lost their lives this morning. This is after a Nairobi-bound bus rammed into a lorry that's told in Matu, Machakos County. This has been confirmed.